Okay, the art enthusiast wants to know if I feel the current 5.56 round is effective in combat. Does it have enough knockdown power? And if not, what weapon system or caliber do you feel should replace it? That's a good one too. Yes and no. The 223 5.56 round was designed from the ground up as a military weapon. Caliber, not weapon. Gun is not a gun. Anyway. But it takes the theory of very light and very fast, as opposed to like the AK-47, it travels very slow but very big round. And they compensated by designing the bullet to tumble when it hits something. When it hits flesh, the bullet will actually rotate. So when it hits, it'll spin, yaw, and tumble and do all sorts of funky stuff. In other words, ripping a bigger wound channel. And it was designed to be effective at 300 meters. It was designed during the 1970s, actually designed during the 50s and 60s, where the majority of your combat was within 100 to 200 meters. They were looking at World War II, Korea. Vietnam came along, and first off, one of the problems is the military changed the round, and that caused some slight problems to it. And they also eliminated the chrome lining on the bore, on the barrel, in the bolt carrier, because that caused problems too. But other than that, they got it fixed, and the AR-15 is a very reliable weapon system if you take care of it. But the distance that most troops engage targets in has changed. Now I believe it's somewhere between, I think, 20 and 50 meters. You know, it's generally very close. And the round has a tendency to actually go through. It's still traveling very fast while it hits, and then it'll tumble, and it'll actually blow out the other side. And generally it takes a couple more shots to drop somebody with that. So, in close range battle, I think it's not as effective as it could be. You know, maybe making a hollow point to it. Maybe using the polymer tips to it to help mushroom better, but still keeps reliability. Or using a larger cartridge, like the 308. And, you know, you can buy AR-15 Sarah Chamberlain 308. So, I believe a mixture of those two would be very good, or maybe having 2 or 3 men in your company armed with 208 or 308 weapons. Now, as far as the saw, I was a saw gunner for a while. I hated it, and one of the reasons I hated it because it was big and bulky. The 60 weighed a lot more, but the 60 was streamlined. Another reason why I don't like it is because of the caliber. So I'm supposed to use the same round that he's shooting him over there with? I want something bigger. I want something I can reach out farther and touch. The reason they did it, it does make sense to be able to only use one type of ammo, but they did it because you can carry 100 rounds of 223. It's lighter than 100 rounds of 308, which is 60 fired. And as you can see now, they're using the M240 Bravo, which is a 7.62 308 weapon, because they discovered that very thing. Now I can blow holes through brick walls and stuff, and you know, stuff like that. stuff that'll shred that, like 308, 223 round off, will blow right through with a 308. Also, if you look at a lot of pictures and stuff, you'll see M14s, M14s, some troops are carrying for intermediate sniping. So you've already got them out there. So I'd say go ahead and issue some of your men, 308 versions of the M16. You don't have to retrain them. You might have to put, a couple hundred rounds down range, getting used to the recoil of that. But other than that, their training is exactly, the controls are all exactly the same. Magazines exactly the same, it's a little bit bigger, So, and one of the things I love about the young M16 is, if those who don't know, you qualify at 300 meters. You can actually, you're trained to shoot a human target at 300 meters with that rifle. So anywhere from being able to reach out and touch them, literally touch them, to 300 meters away, you can shoot them with that rifle. And like I said, as long as you take care of it, it's a pretty dang reliable system. I've only had a few in the thousands of rounds I fired. Ironically, I was in basic training trying to qualify with it when it malfunctioned. I had a rocket mechanism. And when I turned it on, when I pulled the trigger, nothing happened. I turned it on safe, it fired. So, they let me, after we were done shooting, they just scrapped that qualification score. And I went up again after, and I did it. I popped rear pan out, shotgunned it, turned it over, shaked it for a little bit, sprayed some lube in there, closed it, pulled the bolt, sprayed some lube in there. And that was it. It ran fine. Another time it jammed when we were doing a live fire training exercise, and I was firing hundreds and hundreds of rounds. I went through probably about 20 magazines, 20, 30 round magazines, and it just got so full of gunk that the cartridges wouldn't eject all the way. And again, I reached into my butt pack there and pulled out a little bottle loop, squirted it up there, cycled the bowl a few times, and it ran fine for the rest of the night. Did a fun job cleaning out that night, but as opposed to like AK will shoot. Now, granted, I've never done any combat operations with an AK-47 or training like that, but I've never seen AK jam. I mean, I know they do, but I've never seen it. Every gun jams, even revolvers jam, okay? It's just a degree of how easy it is to make them jam. I mean, I've seen a few people try and jam AKs and didn't do it. I've seen one, I wish I could find this video. When I went through armor training, I seen it, and they took an AK-47, just tortured it, threw it in mud, kicked it around, threw it in sand, drove it over with a tank. Just did all sorts. They broke the stock off of it after a while, so they were shooting it just with the pistol grip. Took the barrel, stuck it in the vise, and bent it, about like that. Load up the ammo, BAM! Put one round, blew the entire end of the barrel off, finished out the 30 round mag with it. They're tough guns, but they suffer in accuracy from that, so. But, yeah. So, there's my feelings and a little bit more. So, peace out.